Hi everybody! Last episode I told you we were going to work on ways to find diamonds. And that's what I plan to do this time. I figure we'll be starting with the simplest and most obvious way, which is going to be digging them up. And although I have ample tools to do it with, I don't plan on doing it by hand. Not when I have so many delightful machines to do it for me. Now typically people generally go for quarries, which certainly is an option I could take, but we've already talked about how much energy the RF Tools quarry takes. And really it's not very helpful when I only want to dig at one level. I'd rather dig horizontally, which leaves me with two choices. Which would be either the arcane bore from Thaumcraft or the boring machine from Rotary Craft. Guess which one I'm going for. It's probably not very hard to guess, considering I spent all of last episode trying to increase my lubricant output. The only question we really have here now is how we're going to set up the boring machines to run off of this set of hydrokinetic engines. And with 8 wheels worth of torque, I should be able to get quite enough to run 2 boring machines at the same time. And I can probably set up a set of shafts going off from this bevel gears, and that way when I want to switch from boring to doing something else with these, I can just change the direction on the bevel gears. And I think I'll start by having this boring machine run south, since that's a direction I haven't really bored in much yet. So I'll go ahead and start setting that up. And here's our setup. 2 boring machines, each with a chest, and with some item transports going into this diamond chest, but with stone and gravel being sent to this void chest, which should leave plenty of room in this diamond chest, which is also hooked up with the provider module to our logistics pipe system. Because I also expect to be digging up some dirt, which my tree farm actually needs right now. And this should actually be way more than enough torque. In fact, I may want to turn down the torque and convert some of that to speed. Of course, it's going to be a little bit before this thing even gets to the wall to actually start digging. Then again, wow, that thing's going. That may already be pulling some stuff out. Yep, look at that go. That should be bringing us some diamond ore in no time. And both of these boring machines have silk touch, which means that we'll be getting diamond ore, which means that we'll be able to use our ore multiplying techniques to multiply all of our ore by around 5. It also seems possible that this could fill up fairly quickly. And if it does that, then I'll probably want to set up proper storage for all this ore, because I'm not ready to process it just yet. I did have that processing machine set up, but then I moved my hydrokinetic engines up top. So I'll probably actually set it up down here with another direction on these bevel gears. And there's some diamond ore. We'll come back for after a while and see how much we got. But right now, I have some other ways to get diamond to look into. Another way to produce diamonds that I've been looking at, and which I've never actually tried before, is breeding diamond bees. And it does look as if it'll take a bit of doing. But I believe I have everything I need to start with. And I need to get some stuff to put in here. So I'll get some Eye of Ender to improve my chances of breeding. Alright, I have a whole bunch of Eyes of Ender. And I shall put in my Noble Princess and one cultivated drone. And I already have an Oblivion frame and one out of the Despair, which I had found in dungeons. And that should make all of this go a lot quicker. But still not quick enough to actually want to record it, so we'll go ahead and work on this breeding and see how it goes. Meanwhile, back at the mine, looks like things have gotten a little bit overfilled already. I suspect what happened is the void chest ran out of room, and so the stone ended up getting sent over here. So that's a little bit annoying. But just the same, this thing is still a bit more than half full of stuff that is not stone. So it may have been overflowing anyway, even without all the stone going in there. And it looks like some of my diamond wasn't even getting into there. So yeah, I'm going to have to set up some proper storage with this thing. Oh, and look, I have places to store all this. This should actually simplify things a bit. Alright, it looks like I have things set up to catch most of the output from the bore. And I've got the big wall set up to take all that stone and gravel, so that ought to take all of that, if the quicksort module can keep up with it. I could, of course, use a Mark III extractor, which would pull everything out quickly enough, but at the cost of having a little bit of control over where it all goes. So let's see what happens here. The stuff isn't hanging around in the origin chests long at all. Not even long enough to see them, in fact, which is fine. You know, I should put a mod-based item sync for the metallurgy items. And I think that's just what I'll do. But first, I think I'll let this run for a few minutes and see what else does not get pulled out of here by the quick sword, so I can make sure everything has a destination. Meanwhile, back up here, things are going slow. I've hardly built up any drones yet, so I really need to accelerate this process. Thing is, I'm going through these Oblivion frames really quickly. And they're pretty expensive to make. But I think I have an alternative. We're going to make a few of these life cycle acceleration frames. Which seem to be a lot easier to make. And life cycle acceleration frame. It's not as quick as the Oblivion frames, but they are cumulative, so if you put 3 frames in there, then it is about as quick as an Oblivion frame. And they seem to last a lot longer, too. I'm just going to have to find myself some more Galazio crystals. Meanwhile, things are going delightfully down here. Our diamond chest isn't coming close to filling up. And looks like we've got a couple stacks of diamonds. $125 diamond ore. Which means that's pretty close to 10 stacks of diamonds right there. I could actually make my battery with that. But I want to finish breeding those bees, and then there's that other method of making diamonds that I wanted to talk about. Either way, right now I am going to turn this off for a bit. Because I want to do some extracting with this extractor right here. And this is the only place where I get enough power to go get it done straight through. And extractor setup. Now you might think that the thing I want to do is just load this straight up with diamonds and get my whole 10 stacks out of it. But I have another thing I'd like to do first. I want to extract some coal. I really expected to have a whole bunch of coal ore stored up by now. But surprisingly, I've only got a stack of that. But still, there are some nice things I can do with 5 stacks of coal. And to be honest, I do already have 1,000 actual coal saved up. So yeah, I should be able to perform my plans with that. And this is moving along really quickly, which is also nice. So, what do we do with 1,000+ pieces of coal? Ever see that bit in the old Superman movies where Superman takes a lump of coal and squeezes it into a diamond for Lois? It's kind of like that, but with IC2. First, we macerate it into coal dust. Next, you wrap the dust around some flint in a crafting grid. We're using an automatic workbench from BuildCraft. It's slow, but not slower than the machines that are feeding it. If I felt like overclocking the machines and furnishing enough power for it, I might need something faster. Next, we compress the resulting coal ball. That's where we get the diamonds, right? Wrong. Instead, we wrap the compressed coal ball around some obsidian. That gives us a coal chunk, which is going to be a diamond someday. Today, in fact, once we take it out and send it to another compressor. And diamond. So all that coal we're extracting right now should add up to quite a bit at a rate of about a stack of coal, 8 flint, and 1 obsidian per diamond. Okay, so I got distracted, I came back, we're ready to breed some diamond bees. And I have some diligent drones, I don't have unweary ones, so first thing we're going to do is breed this diligent drone with a cultivated princess until we get unweary bees, which I intend to breed with this tolerant queen to get robust bees, which I shall next breed with this industrious princess to get resilient bees, one of whom will be the lucky bee that gets to breed with this imperial princess in order to provide for me lapis bees. And that puts us on the home stretch, folks. But before I go to this next step, I would like to mention that I have also saved a few extra of these lapis drones, because they can also be bred with forest bees to give you emerald bees. But right now we're going to breed these, or this rather, with this cultivated princess. And then we will have diamond bees. Now, these diamond combs are not produced as often as the rocky combs. In fact, there's a 1% chance per production cycle of these guys. However, when we have 6 frames loaded in here, we know that something's going to come up every cycle. So that actually is going to be about 1/10 as often as the rocky combs. Still, to produce a meaningful amount of diamonds, I'm actually going to have to increase the number of diamond queens and have a number of hives running producing diamonds, which is easy enough to do. All I have to do is get a number of larvae from the hatchery and inoculate it with this high fertility serum. And about 5 larvae will be plenty to incubate into 5 drones, which will put those high fertility genes into the diamond queens. So yeah, that's easy enough to do if you're the type of person that doesn't like to go leaving your base to hunt for diamonds or drilling infinite holes with a boring machine. I got tired of waiting for this tank to fill up, and I also ran out of canola seeds, so I had to start a new canola farm. And I decided to go ahead and start centrifuging the husks. So I built a bank of 8 centrifuges for exactly that purpose. And that's using 90 watts, so it's still not quite using all of the output of that battery. So it'll still be using the water wheels less than 1/4 of the time. And with all these extra centrifuges running, it should be able to keep generating positive amounts of lubricant even when I have both sets of hydrokinetic engines running. And that tank's nearly full as it is. So I think that it's time that we got around to extracting those diamonds from the diamond ore we have. And with the 174 blocks of diamond ore, that should yield about 700 diamonds. more than enough to make that battery that I want. So we'll just tell that to stop feeding coal ore into here, and once that coal ore runs out of here, it'll start loading in the diamonds. And all I need to do is turn this back on again. And wait. And off it goes. And there's not really much I can do to increase the speed of this process, so I'm just going to go get myself a cup of coffee, maybe have some dinner, maybe take a nap while I wait for this to finish its job. And that's it for the diamond ore. So we have 891 diamond ore flakes, each of which will cook into 1 diamond. And from the IC2 smelting and compressing, we have 88 diamonds, and we had about 30 to begin with, so just over a stack. And 349 diamond fragments from our diamond bees, which comes out to a bit less than 40. So yeah, just mining them and extracting them does seem to be the clear winner in this. But we can still let the diamond bees stay at their work and not actually have to do anything about it. So I guess it's time to go smelt some diamonds. Just give me my book. Well, I was going to head back, and then this patch decided to jack my ride. I didn't do it, he stepped on the tracks. And yeah, 982 diamonds ought to be plenty. And I have already put in the recipe for the RF storage battery, or at least for everything that I need to make the RF storage battery. This bedrock alloy ingot is going to take a little bit of work because the blast furnace recipe requires a temperature that I have not yet reached. And it's going to take more power than these 4 hydrokinetic engines can produce. Which means I'll need to take this furnace and a few gears downstairs to the other set of hydrokinetic engines. And that's not all I'm missing. For the RF crystal, I'm going to need at least 4 nether stars, which is kind of the reason we're doing this in the first place. And let's see what else. Oh, we only need 1 nether star. And 4 blocks of emerald. Now we already know how to come up with 4 blocks of emerald if we don't already have it. And we have 22 emerald ore, which is going to come out to over 100 emeralds. So yeah, we should actually be able to come up with that emerald. So we only need 1 more nether star and we'll be ready to do this. And I'll take care of that off camera. So there we have it. 3 ways of coming up with diamonds. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to click like, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Next episode, we'll see if we can't put these diamonds to work. Until then, have some fun, build something cool, and have a nice day.